So what follows is a course outline. It's a bit long because I wanted to be very thorough. If you are still hesitating, if you're not sure if you want to purchase this course or not, I thought that would help. Even towards the end, there is a bit of a comparison table based on your level if you're, that will tell you if the course is suitable for you or not. Having said that, if you have already committed to the program, to the course, this could be useful if you like to have a thorough understanding of what's ahead of you. But if not, feel free just to skip it and go straight to the next lecture.
Welcome to the course overview. So before we get started in course content, I just wanted to have a quick overview of the philosophy first. There's 5 components, if you like, that I have put together to ensure that the course is 1, hopefully pleasant to follow, and 2, that will increase retention. So there is a practical view on concepts, real-life scenarios. So that should make the course easier to learn. So there'll be also a lot of examples for obvious reasons. It's always better to have examples. Sometimes we don't fully grasp the concept, but as soon as the example comes, yes, we see how it relates to real life. We will also show as much as possible how to simplify, how we can implement what we have learned quickly. And I think also that will make it easier to master. So something simple, easier to understand, easier to master, and then you can take it from there. I love diagrams, and I think they are a great way to communicate a concept sometimes, so there'll be a lot of those. And finally, for part 1, which is a course, and part 3, which is a standards, there will be quizzes. Now that we've put that behind us, course content, what will you learn? We'll start off with an introduction. Some, suggestions that I have for you to take to the course. So for instance, there is a roadmap here, that what I call a roadmap. I know that some of you like to look ahead, what's in a course, so they like to have to print that or put that handy on your tablet so you can follow where we are at and the various functionalities. But some just prefer just to take it step by step, so it will be completely up to you, but I will suggest some resources that you could print. We will review what I have called the birth of project management. So it's something that is completely personal. Don't quote me on it. It's how I imagined that the project management was born. So I've done a little story around that, and that would be a good way to introduce you to project management and how I think the various phases of project management were born. So that will lead us to the phases of project management and the various activities to project management. And after, briefly, we will provide a definition of project management and the role of the project manager. And we will finish by a quiz already. So, and then we will move on to part 1. So part 1 is the course of project management. So the structure is very simple. Project management is divided in phases. So during this course, we will just go through the phases more or less. We'll have an overview beforehand, and after we review the 4 phases, which are initiation, planning, execution, and closing. And after we'll do a review and a wrap-up. Within those phases, some concepts, topics, tools will be explained, and I just wanted to review those with you. So we won't go through the full course. I just wanted to highlight what we will cover amongst other things. So for each phase that we will review, we will discuss the phase purpose. We will provide the key components, what it means, the outcome sort on the very high level. After we review the project manager role for each one of those phases. We will review stakeholder management. That will be obviously like all topics that I'm running you through now. It will come back for different phases. We will review who are the stakeholders. We'll review how we can classify them. And we'll review an example on how to store this information and make a communication plan out of this. We will review also the project structure. We'll have a few slides around this. This is just one structure, but I think it's important sometime when you're thrown into a project manager's role to understand the structure. So we'll have several examples of structure. We will review risk management. We will review risk severity, how to assess it, and we will review a very precise example of risk register. So how to structure it properly and the different types of outcome that we could have for each risk listed. We'll review scope, the importance of scope, what is it used for, how to create it, and we'll review the change control process. So that's not all as I was mentioning, but it's just to give you an idea of how the course is structured and the different type of slides you could have. So we will talk about the scheduling. I will provide some suggestions how to build a schedule. Based on this, I would also provide some suggested steps to build a schedule, different representation of a schedule, how to monitor a schedule using the MS Project software, what is a critical path and how to quickly check it on the schedule. We'll review obviously cost and budget, which is also a very important part of project management. I will suggest a very easy way to split to get you started on the budget. I will review with you a few of those examples, very concrete, very clear. Hopefully we will review a concept called earned value, which the project management methodology like to discuss, but as you've seen, I'm just going to go back to that slide here. I'd just like to present it extremely simply initially after we go into more complex examples, but always the example, always the concept of having something practical and an example to go along with it. We will review quality management. So this is when usually you start getting to sleep, but I'm trying to make it as interesting as possible. It is quite important, but it's true that it's quite heavy to learn when you go through all these project management courses. So hopefully I have simplified it and at the same time kept it very practical and complete, I suppose. Provide a lot of information here, highlighting the ones that are really important. We'll review also obviously issue management with some slides around this and very clear example of a issue register with a template. Project meetings. So we will review also that in part 2 where I give you my proper way on how to manage project, but we'll review in part 1 here the by the book way and the different types of meetings that you can have. So there is also obviously templates that we will review and discuss. We will also discuss project reporting, which is very important, the perception of a project manager. So also we'll walk through a template. We'll review also the closing activity. So I put closing a bit separate because it's something that is often rushed, but I'm hoping that I've provided a clear way for you to know really the key components of this, and I'll explain why it's something that you can use as an opportunity to shine as a project manager for the very reason I was providing before. It's often rushed. So if you do it properly, then I think your stakeholders will be impressed. I will provide some templates, so we've seen that. We've seen some of the templates, but there will be more. And examples. Once again, there's this, just to give you an example, there's a project management plan, which is a document the project manager creates. So I will give examples of this stuff. Exactly, take a project as an example and exactly what you should put in. And you can put more, but the starting point I think is very important. So that's it. So it's just that was just a quick overview of some of the topics that you will see. So before you commit to this course, you know what you'll get more or less hopefully with this. So that was for part 1. Part 2 is a framework to really take part 1 and really take it to the next level, to really ace it in my view. There will be 3 components. The first component, we will review the project management context. What is the context of a project manager when he joins a company? What does he or she has to deal with? And after we'll go into the framework. So the framework is not something fluffy, it's something very concrete. I will tell you exactly what you need to do. I will provide you with examples and the likes, but it's very concrete. Sorry for laboring that point, but it's not something fluffy. It'd be nice if you could do this, but it's not just do A, B, C, D. So and finally we'll go into interview tips. So I have interviewed a lot of project managers, and I have been interviewed obviously as a project manager as well, and I have done the hard work, and I know what works and I know what doesn't work, so we can review this. So that's it for part 2. Part 3, it's around methodology. So part 3, I put it towards the end so that you can see how this course fits in with the existing methodologies, if you like. PMP and PRINCE2, if you haven't heard of them, they are project management methodologies. They're obviously very long, they take weeks to learn, and they have very thorough exam and the likes. So obviously I am not going to give you a PMP and a PRINCE2 course, so this is not the purpose of this course. But I wanted to give you some context to show you how this course relates to PMP and PRINCE2. More or less, the idea behind that was just to show you that it's more or less the same. All project management methodologies are the same. So we'll review also waterfall and agile. Waterfall being, by default method used for project management. I will just go that very quickly. And agile, I will provide a little bit more information. I will show you, an example. I will also, towards the end, provide a comparison between agile and waterfall, the pros and cons. So if you're wondering, waterfall and agile, you can use both using the part 1 of the course, or it's just a different way to deliver the work, if you like. That's it. We only left with one question. Is this course for you? This course is for you if you want to understand project management, if you want to become a project manager, or if you want to perfect your project management skills. Now, if we go into a little bit more detail, if you like, I don't know you, so I just going to go through different levels here and see if that's a match for you. So let's say you're a beginner or layman and you don't understand project management at all. Yes, this course is definitely for you. I mean, I'll take it really from the beginning. As I was saying, I was just giving a little story on how I imagine the project management was born. So I think that you will find that very useful. So there's 3 parts in this course. So if you're a beginner or layman, I would suggest that you start obviously with part 1, and after you do part 2, and after you do part 3. So this is for you if you're in this category. If you're intermediate, I really think you're going to learn from it as well. I'm putting all my experience in this as a coach and as a project manager, and you will, I am sure you will get something for part 1, part 2, part 3. And if you don't, then I will gladly reimburse you. I think it's part of the terms of the course anyway. Now, if you're advanced, I'm sure you could learn from this as well. I really put some effort into putting a framework together. So the part 2, I would be surprised if you don't get anything from this. But you could also get something from part 1 and part 3, I believe. So actually, I'm quite interested. If you want to have a look, this is how I would really suggest it. Potentially, and yes, here. So that's it. So we went through the course philosophy, diagrams, examples, practical view, quizzes to help you, retain information and the likes. I provide a precise description of the course content, which is, has 3 parts: the first part, the course itself, the second part, know how to really take it to the next level, and the third part to give more a bit of a context of this course amongst other project management methodologies. And hopefully we finally answer the question, is this course for you or not?